North America, a game away from moving on to the semifinals and taking out one of Europe's last two hopes in this tournament. But Team Liquid, there's still time, there's still a chance, and it starts with trying to figure out, do we want first pick or do we want the battleground choice? Now in our first match of the day, the one they chose first pick, maybe would have liked to see something different from China, but Europe does like their first pick, Jay-How.
They do, and this is a team with Team Liquid. They know they came in with a strategy last game, and I think they're more than comfortable here. As Dredd alluded to, taking away some of the strengths of what Heroes Heart did against Team Liquid, when you are in that position, maybe you can get some of those strong heroes. We saw the denial on the support choke there, and we might see a different approach for Team Liquid because of the different draft strategy when you have that first pick.
Sorry, I was just going to say my one concern when looking at this next draft, though, is we do get Team Liquid to kind of adapt back. They had some, I would argue, must bans in the last ban phase over the last draft with the Abathur and the Zeratul. And I wonder if this is going to be a situation where they compensate for what we got in the last game, and that suddenly goes, oh, here's the solo support Abathur, and it suddenly becomes a snowball even harder against them.
Well, it depends on the map. I would say that, but of course, we also did see solo support Abathur Dahaka on Team the Spider Queen versus Dignitas, so who knows, we could still get it, but it starts with the battleground. And we're going to Dragonshire. Dragonshire, likely chosen, yes, chosen by Heroes Heart Esports. Starting to feel more of a familiarity with that battleground, and when you have to play Tempo Storm so much on Dragonshire, you will start to enjoy that. What priority picks are you feeling for either team, Tetcher, on this map?
I definitely would feel happy seeing Chrome or anyone on Heroes Heart back on that Hanzo. Hanzo in the bottom lane on this map can be absolutely devastating, as the bottom shrine is the perfect area for scatter arrows, and you can really get some domination there and harass anyone who tries to contest you, unless they have a solid support to try and wade into you. So I'd love to see that coming out from them, or at least it getting banned away by Team Liquid.
Team Liquid played versus Tempo Storm on Dragonshire and did get their first pick, Garrosh. Also a Maiev, so a ton of control over that. But what they will not be giving is another Abathur.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if they have any intention of the Garrosh. The Garrosh playstyle is very crippled by that constant macro pressure that you get out of Abathur in the northern lane and in the healing circumstances. And like I said, I felt like they were must-bans in the last game. They continue to be must-bans here for Team Liquid, going with the Abathur and the Zeratul. So where is the mix-up going to come out from them here in this draft? Or is it going to be the standard Garrosh in your opener, looking towards that Decker Kane if you can have the opportunity, if not the Malfurion later on? And look at this, the mix-up.
Tyrande as the first pick, ignoring Norok's very beloved Deckard Cain, going for a little bit of extra burst, and more importantly, denying it away from Heroes Heart.
Team Liquid very occasionally would play 2 support with Tyrande in part 2.
That's true.
And I think it'd be really good in this situation, depending on the rest of the draft. Something like a Tassadar coming in as well, maybe another pseudo hybrid, I think will be very beneficial. But you know, I think a lot of people are going to be happy to know that Crowan has an opportunity to find himself back on the Hanzo there in that bottom lane. But this time we see Ishbu with the Garrosh pick.
This is a map where Hanzo does well. He can always play the solo post level 4. We've seen a lot of Korean teams, they use the Hanzo, they use the Junkrat, maintain that, and then get the ganks elsewhere. And they have the possibility getting Hami onto this team, somebody that's known to play a lot of melee assassins, it just says that he can be an aggressive player as needed. We'll see some pretty good wave clear out as the Jaina picked up here, presumably for Hasu, as we saw it during the opening week, but the Anubarak is probably more surprising.
There's a big change.
Yeah, it's a huge change. We've actually gotten 0 Anubarak out from Sport Billy, but I feel like that is a huge thing if I am Heroes Heart Esports. My game plan is suddenly shifted. The answer is kill the bug. Find Sport Billy and squash him, because he's been very susceptible on low HP warriors, and that is about the lowest they get there, Tetcher.
Absolutely, no Anubarak from Sports Billy. It's been so rare. Last time they ran a Tyrandicon, the only time they have run a Tyrandicon, but during the opening week, was against Luna Meow, and they had a Tyrael as their main tank for that. So a little bit of flexibility, completely changing up the style.
There was a Valeera from Heroes Heart on this map. What was really funny, it was versus Team Dignitas, and I talked to them after that, and they were like, yeah, we were kind of just testing the waters with Dignitas, like not showing too much. And then Crone was like, I played Valeera. So I don't know if that was going to continue, but better safe than sorry with Valeera, because she can squash the bug pretty well.
Well, the Deckard, no shenanigans here when it comes to that support play. The Deckard has a lot of control in these areas. The Blaze and the Junkrat, or excuse me, the Blaze and the Garrosh have so much protection for that Hanzo on the back line. We know Deckard is hard to dive, so if we were to see something like a Tracer come out here, which we know that Arcaner can flex over to, it seems less likely now in this scenario, so we'll see where we have that play.
Oh, baby.
Well, excuse me very much, because...
What? What?
There is a tracer. There is a tracer, but let's look at this. This is Lost Vikings Dreadnought on Dragonshire, and we go back a couple years, and I always hear you talk about this almost like every other event.
Yeah.
Give me some TLV here.
Yeah, so TLV on Dragonshire has, honestly, it's got like 4 different mainstays how you can play it, but I'm going to assume it's going to be one of 2. It's the chaos between top and bottom and a heavy amount of manipulation with a backdoor Eric over middle shrine and getting the Dragon Knight itself, or my favorite version, which we may actually see unfold here, and it is the proxy TLV. You've got yourself, Balog on the back line. He's getting that clear. You got the big old Olaf up in the front, taking out the minions, and Eric's on the back, just constantly going, this is my shrine. You can't deal with this. The minion waves are always moving in. You get the clear before it even makes it to your opponent's fort. You just hang out on the death bridge and constantly just out-macro your opponents. No matter what is played here, Hasso, I'm excited. I feel like it's going to put on a clinic, but I will say, with all my excitement, I still have a big, is this really the strategy that is going to take down NA?
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked to Genji, and Genji said of all the teams in their group they were most scared of, it was Team Liquid. And it's because of this right here. You never know when Team Liquid decides to draft Team Liquid things. And one of those things is the Lost Vikings, Hasso for Forever Tetcher.
Let's count the Viking hunters here. Hanzo can maybe ping someone. If you have a look at Phoenix, he can maybe chase someone down, but they still actually have to micro effectively and not get interrupted by anyone and not overextend chasing down those Vikings. There should be so much freedom here for the Vikings.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about the Lost Vikings. I can't wait to see the Lost Vikings action and if they can take us to Game 3.
Well, Dreadnought, when all chips are on the table, it's time you bust out that one thing that you know that you always have in your back pocket, and that is the Lost Vikings. Hasso Ops, he said, I'm not going down at my first BlizzCon without playing the hero I'm known for.
And being the guy who is a RTS master, an ex-RTS pro, I think it's only fitting that he found a way to play an RTS within the MOBA genre at the BlizzCon stage here with the Lost Vikings. But as I said, there was a lot of different ways to make that happen. And there's a lot I want to add about the draft and the intricacies of how I think Heroes Heart, actually, that Phoenix pick is very, very value as things move on. But first here, we got to get the introductions. In the blue, we have Hanzo, played by Crowan. BBJ is going to be on the Deckard Cain. We've got McIntyre firing it up on Blaze. Ishbu playing that Garrosh and Homicidal on Phoenix. Give it up for Heroes Heart Esports.
On the right side, we have Team Liquid, and that's going to be Sport Billy on the front line on Anubarak. Eternal will be on the Vikings. This is an interesting mix-up, as it's going to be Arcaner on the Tracer, Nurok on Tyrande, and Hasso Ops will be on the Jaina. So as much hype as we gave the man, the myth, the legend, it is a mix-up, but nonetheless, this is Team Liquid.
All right, so one thing that I want to bring up here, when playing against Vikings, one of the biggest things you need to make happen on any battleground, but especially that of Dragonshire, when macro is so very important, is you need independent wave clear in every single lane. And that is where the Phoenix is able to make up for that. Hold up, though. Ishbu, maybe with a bold transition there. Arcaner kind of being the mosquito he will be throughout this game. But let's bring it back to the draft. Hanzo, post 4, explosive arrows. He's got the clear. Blaze, very comfortable in that avenue as well. And then that Phoenix, very good to have another backliner for that clear. So they can go triple solo lanes, and that is where Vikings get heavily crippled, is Hami with a great path there.
You gotta love it. Just a shade of fog is all you need. I also want to double down on that. I mean, you have the wave clear with the Phoenix, but one thing that Phoenix does against a Tracer is when you get the pulse bomb on you, if you time your warp correctly, that pulse bomb just detonates on nothing.
It's a straight iframe. You just no damage, no problem.
So there are several reasons behind that. We'll see how it unfolds, because this is a very unique draft. When you have numbers advantage, you can maybe make some plays, but Ishbu eating a lot of damage, including the pulse bomb. However, they will get the first kill onto the Anubarak, and Heroes Heart has executed and taken away this siege camp away from Team Liquid.
Really good job there from Ishbu, getting a lot of damage coming out to him early on, able to eat the whole pulse bomb at a healthy percentage to make sure that the armor adds up, he can keep himself alive. And then, as I said in the draft, the second that Anubarak comes out, what is the game plan for Heroes Heart? It is squash the bug. That is something I think we will see throughout this game. And already seeing Heroes Heart capitalize on that, I'm going, Eternal, you've got to justify this Lost Vikings pick quick.
Well, it's going to be difficult, but the stuns come in. Ishbu continue to take damage, but that is a very tanky Garrosh. When you see the Anubarak, everywhere you see it Dreadnought, it's primarily with the Yrel if you look at the Korean region, but beyond that, it's normally the Blaze for the very reason because he can get popped very quickly. We'll see how exactly he holds up as Ishbu holding position. Arcaner coming in to stun the Pulse Bomb, and that's going to be a kill there for Team Liquid.
In a really good position for one of those Vikings to be able to make the transition up and pick that up. We already see Homicidal waiting on the side, though. He will be able to get that clear. Blaze dealing with that Eric on the top lane, and a kill on the bottom half in the process. Team Liquid now winning on all fronts.
Look, Dread, they've got firepower galore. When you talk about the Jaina and the Tracer, Arcaner on that Tracer is terrifying, showing that he is one of the best. When we talked to him previously going into BlizzCon, he said, I want to be the best. I've worked so hard at this. He has convinced me that he is one of the best. Some of his play throughout opening week has been stellar. He's going to continue to try and make plays here. He's also going to grab first DK of the game here for Team Liquid.
And Team Liquid, the more they're able to open up this map, the better, as Heroes Heart's been able to find that macro control with that triple wave clear and those solo lanes like I was talking about before. And if that doesn't happen and structural integrity goes in favor of Team Liquid, they could be in a position where the playground for that Jaina and the Tracer, Arcaner there, suddenly gets a lot bigger. And that is when she is a thriving hero. Suddenly the kill potential becomes, it's not even close, really. The only hero that can keep up with that is going to be an Illidan here. So Liquid, as they focus down the front walls, find themselves with a big tone setter, but by no means is this too far out of the range considering the comp of Heroes Heart.
Well, Heroes Heart will defend for now, but they do find themselves down in terms of experience. They're doing their best to hold those lanes. You can just watch your mini-map and watch that Blaze move up and down, trying to get that double lane soak while the rest of the team trying to keep up and deal with the Dragon Knight. But Team Liquid, with that first DK, the first few kills after that initial loss of the invade, seems to be saying, hey, this is a real strat. Good luck dealing with it. And Heroes Heart, they've got a lot to do to adapt along the way.
And I think one of the starting points for that adaptation is going to be in Mercenaries. Not only in the invade, but mainly when it comes to the priority of them and which ones we see stacked versus not stacked from Heroes Heart Esports. And the downtime, Liquid looking over towards their Night Camp Mercenaries, and they're going to find it for themselves. Blaze dealing with that with both Vikings sieging up. That's actually a very good, difficult position for him. So Heroes Heart, though they have the double stack on bottom, I still feel like they're the ones who have to figure out a solution over this mercenary rotation. And personally, I actually think it's rotating top. Sitting on bottom like normal is going to set them back quite a bit here.
Well, you can actually see the prioritization. The Jaina fits so well because she has the wave clear. Arcaner even using that pulse bomb on the other Siege Giant to clear that out. That's where a lot of the damage comes in. But the Night Camp still healthy here as Heroes Heart pushing in this bottom lane, trying to get some of this experience back. And it looks like Dread, they're going to take the first fort of the game.
They're going to take the first fort of the game, but they are sacrificing the experience on top. That Night Camp with the double Vikings is very likely going to pick up the fort eventually.
Dread, they are going in.
Yeah, the answer is that why do you see Heroes Heart doing this? Is because they realize that they keep dancing, they're never going to keep up. So if we just five-man bottom and all in, we can make up for that into the earlier stages. Yes, this is good for now, but eventually they still have to answer and find a way to get themselves a reasonable and realistic engagement.
Yeah, you make a good point, because once you push in once, the next time, I mean, you're literally walking into a keep, maybe more, and right now the structures fall. Heroes Heart, Dread, with that Knight still alive, providing that spell armor, now moves into keep range. Arcaner trying to track down the slow. The stun coming in for Hasu, continuing to track down, just misses that bolt there. And now Heroes Heart, they got the entire fort, they got the keep wall, but as you mentioned, they gave up that top lane. The Vikings, though, face a similar situation.
And as the game moves on, those Vikings will be able to backdoor a lot of the shrines and threaten that Dragon Knight more and more frequently. And Jay, how I feel like there is already a moment we can look to in the future that if Heroes Heart struggles in, it may be a very bad circumstance for them. And that is over the next stacking of mercenaries on bottom. This Dragon Knight should go over to Liquid. Liquid should have a big power spike over the next couple of minutes. But then when Heroes Heart suddenly does the exact same thing that we just saw in the next rotation, if they fail to be able to pick up that bottom keep, suddenly this game goes Liquid's favor from beginning to end, and it's all thanks to that clever Vikings pick at the back end and the control it's given them over Shrine.
Well, remember, one of those Vikings is in the DK, and 10 right around the corner for Heroes Heart. Can look to take a team fight, see if they might try and pull that here. Heroics locked in. The bottom fort will fall. Heroes Heart, see what their response will be. Hiding that Blaze for now. I think they're looking for a team fight momentarily if they can get it.
Sport Billy moving up with the anchor. We get the flip over. No Warlord's challenge attempt there as the pulse bomb ends up dropping onto Ishbu. Gets a nice pot there out from BBJ, and he's going to be just fine. Dragon Knight still falling very low, but there is only a Viking within this here. Not going to be too concerning if you are this little Olaf, though it is sad to see our cute little friend go down. He's only 1/3 of a hero, and that is not putting him down.
That's about as hashtag worth as it gets right there. Team Liquid coming out with a strategy and executing it here as we round the 7-minute mark. And they have a level and a half lead over Heroes Hearth.